Namaste, my beautiful queens. I am so overwhelmed and thankful to you for all your beautiful messages about my educational videos. But, beautiful queens, you can print in this little window on YouTube how to be high value woman, and you can watch tons and tons and tons of videos of the same subject, and there are many men which are talking about it. uh, Honestly, there's so much information you can listen to. I so you can easily find, maybe I will find them and put some links underneath of my of my videos, but I do not know if I'm gonna keep on doing it, because beautiful queens, it's not. Maybe I'll get into it deeper, but the reason why I before I start the subject, you make him a king or a god. Before I start the subject, I want you to. I'm gonna have a little demonstration here. I want you to understand that I absolutely want you to stop blaming yourself for whatever you had done till today. My goal is for you not to do the same pattern, not to fall into the same pattern as you have been. But I want you to understand, our soul chooses the journey before we come into physical. The most excruciating ones and difficult ones, of course, the twin flames, the divine feminine role, unfortunately, wasn't supposed to be so hard, because we were supposed to and needed to, and it was a hope that we would be awakened at the same time. And of course, we will be standing, holding each other hand, and have enough energy to fulfill our mission. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and we had to take the hit. We had to do all the things which I'm gonna teach you not to do. But I want you to please just breathe in, breathe out. I know that our biggest issue is not to forgive them, is not to forgive either your twin or your karmic or your boyfriend or your anybody or your soulmate, or even very often your parents, those who hurt you. The biggest problem is you to forgive yourself. And I know how tough it is. We forgive them all. We, excuse me, wish them all the good things in the world. We let them go. We let them be. We move on. But this forgiving of yourself is the most difficult. It's me sitting in front of extremely powerful psychic and psychologist and medium, and she's looking at me, and then she tells me, okay, tell that you forgive him. I say, I forgive him. Now tell you forgive yourself. And I say, I forgive myself. And guess what? And she's like, Lala, this is bullshit. Tell me, I forgive myself. I say, I forgive myself. And she's like, no, you're not. And it's true. I can't. I'm still going through this forgive yourself thing, and I'm working hard at that forgive yourself thing. So I want to tell this to myself and to tell it to you as well, that whatever, excuse me, whatever you had done before, that had to be done. It was supposed to be done for you to work some of your karma. Some of you were working through karmic debts. Some of you were untangling those karmic knots. Some of you got and chose this experience which you have gone to live through to make your soul awaken and become stronger and move on into the new heights and new direction. Please, girls, everything which had been done before, right now, this was right. Stop blaming yourself. Forgive yourself. You became stronger. It shaped you up. It transformed your soul. You did what was right. But now, the most important, what we need to learn is not to fall into the same hole, not to fall from the same cliff. For that, excuse me, for that you learn how to be a high value of woman. And I will try to also teach you because when I get into some subject, what happens to me, as I am absolute book maniac, and if I get into some subject, I start to dig into it severely and read everything under the sun I can possibly find, and I will get the most crucial, in my opinion, idea shared with you. So now, why you must never, ever, ever to put a man on pedestal and make him a king. Here is let's imagine it's a golden throne, and this is your man. It's a creeper made of, my son made it. So what happens? You met this man, you are fully, deeply, crazily in love with him, and this is mistake, especially of girls of India, girls of Asia. You take him and you put him on this throne of yours, and you will take a poo here, and you are gonna be right here at his feet, praying for him, serving him, and just breathing him and living him. And girls, I have again let me admit my as well. And girls, what I wanted to say, that these rules I am talking about the majority of men, because they are designed a different way. Their mind works differently. I already told you, they run on testosterone, and they require a certain way. Unfortunately, they don't come with a manual. Man does not come with a manual. It would be wonderful if they came with a manual. It would save us so much time and life. Now you can get those manual, you can get those books, you listen to those speakers and get those books about relationship, and believe me, they're very useful. I already mentioned the book called He's Not That Into You. It's only one of them. I have some others, but I'm gonna mention them later. So what happens is, when you meet that man who you think is wonderful, and so on and so on, and so you put him on this throne, and you become a servant right here at his feet. This is, some societies brought us like this. This is about majority of the men. I tell you, girls, sometimes you have exceptions of the rules. I have father of my children who falls out of every pattern. I tell him, honey, you do not exist. Men like you don't exist. And he tells me the same thing, honey, no, it's you don't exist. And it's already been almost 20 years we know each other. And at the same time, I always was a queen. So if I put him on pedestal, I did put him on pedestal. He still is there on a pedestal, but he just simply treats me the same way. But what he does, he creates a pedestal a little higher and puts me there. And I'm going to put him higher, and he's going to put me higher. But it's exception, my dearest Dwayne. He is exception of the rules, an absolute exception of the rules. Men like him just don't exist anymore. Now, majority of men, what happened? You put him on pedestal. I will tell you my own example with me and my twin flame. Yeah, I got that one. Not only I used to call him my king, but later on I called him my Lord. Not even like a king wasn't enough. I called him my Lord. He was no king for me. He was God for me. He was the air I was breathing. He was the sun. I used to say the sun is not shining without him. My oxygen, excuse me, my oxygen, my air, my rain, my everything. So I existed because he existed and nothing else was matter. Not only I put him on pedestal, I put him on he is originally already on a pedestal, but he was on a cloud somewhere, not even on a cloud, and he's designed by me specific planet. So I've done it. I know how it is. So lots of you, what happens if you put a man on the throne and start to serve him at the bottom of his throne? What is going to happen? I already told you yesterday about self-love, self-value, self-respect, and self-worth. I already told you how important is that. And tell me, will a woman or will a queen put someone on pedestal, on the throne? No. Because this right here, you create, you think that you created a base for happy relationship. Because first of all, we don't think. When we fall in love, we don't think at all. I don't think I'm capable of thinking. I'm a psychic, so I don't think logically at all. I am emotions, feelings, and intuition. So you put him right here, and you think that he sees how wonderful you are, how deep you are, how unique you are. I cough like hell. How incredible you are, how just you give him everything, you throw everything to his feet. What happens? Whatever he throws down to you with his little hand, like a text message, maybe a phone call, a little bit of attention, you go like this, you faint, you're so happy, you're so thrilled, you take anything he throws down, those crumbs to you, you take it like if he was giving you the whole world. Okay? He just throws down to you something and you're like, oh, but he loves me, he values me, he adores me. Bullshit. You just created the future heartbreak. You just created the future breakup. You've just created the beast. As soon as you're going to take a man, you're going to put him out here and you're going to stay at his feet. This is, you are creating already the base of the severe heartbreak for most of the men. If you put him on the throne, then you need to get yourself a bigger throne, a little bit higher, and put yourself there. Then you can do it. But this is what we do. We create a king, a god, an emperor, or whatever, Siddhartha Gautama, out of him. And many religions actually encourage it. The man is a shade of God. You know, the man is God. So worship him. Worship him no matter what he does. Very comfortable ideas, don't you think? Now, what happens when you do this? Because when you do this, you think it's going to be good. You think that he's going to see that you are the best thing ever happened to him. What happens in reality when you do that? He's going to enjoy it for some time. There are two variations. I'm not talking covert narcissist. I will talk about it here. Variation. He enjoys it for about a week. Excuse me. Enjoys it for about a week. Then This what's going to happen. I don't know if you can see it. All of that. First, you stop being a challenge. And a man, the way a man designed on his testosterone running through him, through his system, and his brain is not working both half on his brain at the same time. It's either left or right. We have them both working. We are wired differently, designed differently. So what happened? A man, I already told you before, if a sheep comes to a wolf and says, please eat me, even a hungry wolf is going to run away. A sheep is going to try to pursue a wolf is going to run away, because even the most beautiful, most delicious sheep, for a wolf, it's idiocy. He's not going to eat her. He's going to run away. Men need a challenge. And I'm talking right now, even if you married for 25 years, become a challenge. What is a woman who is a challenge? The woman who knows self-worth, self-value, self-respect, and self-love, who puts herself first. She has her own life. She's not sitting and waiting for him. She is not leaving him. What happens when you put him on the throne? You melt in him. You forget yourself. You forget your dreams. You forget your friends. You forget your ambitions. You forget yourself. You forget your value. You forget your worth. You forget everything. He becomes your world. He becomes your life. You live by serving him and making him happy, completely forgetting about yourself. So, number one, no more a challenge. And he needs this. He needs to live at the edge. He needs to hunt. He needs to constantly know that it's not for sure, that it's not certain. You are not available there for him 24 hours a day. I know a woman who was married 32 years, and she said, the secret to my marriage is very simple. 3 words: don't be available. Do not be constantly available to your man or to your husband, to your boyfriend. So you made a king out of him. No more challenge. No more challenge. What no more challenge means? It's too simple. It's too easy. It's boring. No longer a mystery. You're no longer a mystery. You're living, serving him, pleasing him, making him happy. You become a slave. I used to say to my twin, you're a king, so you give orders. I'm a peasant girl. I'm supposed to follow them. I did that. Girls, you think I did that? This is why I had to learn on my own skin, they say. And you've done it as well. Just don't blame yourself. You have to forgive yourself. What was done was necessary and needed for your soul, for your heart, for your mind, for you to become and move to the next step. Stop blaming yourself. So you're no longer a mystery. Now comes even a worse thing. He thinks you are desperate because you're living to please him. You cook for him. You clean after him. You please him every possible way, giving him massages, making love with him, pleasing him while you're making love with him every possible way, whatever his preferences are, so on and so on. So he thinks, my God, she's doing everything for me. She must be desperate. So he thinks that you use this such a weird way to hold him. You trying so hard and you trying so much to hold him that he start thinking that it could be something's wrong with you. Especially when you start to pursue. I already told you, right? Do not pursue on your hand, on the wall, or anywhere you want to write it. He started thinking she's desperate. She wants me, needs me so much that she throws herself to my feet. She must be desperate. And what comes after desperate? Boy, she's naive. She thinks that by doing all this for me, she's gonna keep me. She's silly. She is weak. She has no self-value. And as soon as man understands you don't have self-value, he starts walking all over you. You must remember one thing. Men will treat you the way you allow him to treat you. Allow me to say it again. Men will treat you the way you allow him to treat you. And I will repeat it one more time. A man will treat you the way you allow him to treat you. She has no self-value, means he can do anything. And you're going to swallow all the bitter pills he's going to throw at you. She is boring, because a woman at his feet no longer challenge, no longer mystery. She is boring. What happened next? He loses interest. Next, he feels too much pressure, because you give and you give and you give and you give and you give, and he starts feeling pressure. If she gives so much, that for sure she wants something from me. She wants me to marry her. She wants me to stay with her. She wants me to be her air and sun and the moon. Too much pressure. They start to feel suffocated with your love and attention. Why? Because you stop having any life. You throw away everything, and he becomes your God. He becomes your king. He becomes your emperor, your sultan, your master. You neglect yourself. You throw yourself to his feet. Now, falls out of love. They don't love women at his feet. They don't. They fall for strong, powerful women. This is a very sad but true. They fall for strong women, because I don't mean you have to be a power lifter. Even if you have your moment of weakness, I don't tell you, you must never tell him any problems you have, or you must never be weak. But a real man, he will ask you. A real man who has true deep feelings to you, he will see if your roof is leaking. And he's gonna silently go fix it, or he's gonna find people who gonna fix it. He's gonna ask you, my grandma said, a real man who really truly loves you, he's gonna ask you this: did you eat today? Is this the place you live comfortable? Are your kids, if you have kids, all right? Is the work okay? Do you need something? Can I do something for you? Love is care. Love is actions. Only actions of a man must determine his love to you. So you throw yourself to his feet. Falls out of love. Because, you know why? Because you putting him on a throne, making him your world, cause a very, very, very bad feeling and emotion, which in English has several words. Disdain and scorn. He starts to look at you with disdain and scorn, as to a servant. And he starts walking all over you. If it's a bad man, of course, if it's a good man, he's going to treat you the same way. If it's a bad man, he's going to start to use and abuse you every possible way. And I hear this all the time. But why? Why? I worshipped him for 10 years. This is a true story. Indian girl, by the way. Indian girl with a married man. These are the words she told me. I worshipped him for 10 years. And all I got, he walked all over me. He cheated on me. He lied to me. He abused me. He used me. Of course he did, because you put yourself as a level of dirt. Of course he did. The good man, if he's not the very bad man, he's just going to he's gonna disappear from your life. He's gonna stop calling. He's gonna stop texting or coming to you, and he's gonna act cold and hot. Most possibly, he's gonna completely disappear. Why? Because he will not want to tell you the truth, that he simply is not in love with you anymore. He's gonna give you lame excuses, hoping that you're gonna disappear yourself. Or he, if you don't do it yourself, then he probably is gonna tell you, I have somebody else. The result of you throwing yourself to the feet of your man, putting him on a throne, is only one: terrible heartbreak and terrible heart pain. And this I hear from everybody I consult almost. I would die for him. Again, here is me. I would die. I used to say it. I would die for him 100 times. I even said the worst thing. If he was an inquisitor burning me at the stake as a witch, I would come back to the next life and I would allow him to burn me again at a stake as a witch. And I would do it again. This is how I was even worse than this. Burn me 1,000 times, I will still love you. Betray me, hurt me, I will still. And what's the result of all this? What is the base why we do it? The lack of self-value, the lack of self-love, of self-respect, of self-worth. Excuse me. Some of you have that base in childhood. I did as well. But it already happened. If you've made this mistake, don't make this mistake anymore. You are a queen. And you have your own self-worth, your ambitions, your dreams. A good man, a decent man will put you next to himself as his queen. A little less than decent man is going to disappear out of your life. It's good if he disappears, because it's leading nowhere. Now, there is a third type of a man: covert narcissist. Covert narcissist will stay here and keep you at his feet for years, making you feel less than nothing, making you feel as dirt, and making you feel that you must be grateful that he allows you to serve him at his feet. This is the worst scenario. I have seen it too. I've seen the girl crying, saying, he's abusing me. He uses terrible words. He can slap me. He can walk out and come back in a week. And you know what was the reason why she told me that she stayed? She said, I thought he was a twin flame. I wanted to hit my head against the wall. People started to use the word twin flame as an excuse to keep on being in horrible, abusive mentally, abusive spiritually, abusive in every possible way, even physically, relationship, because some psychic idiot told her it's a twin flame, and he's gonna wake up. Okay, let me do this. Wake up and be good and be nice. This is why I decided to stop anything about twin flame, because too many people are using it in a completely wrong way. So the worst scenario, you're going to be dealing with a covered narcissist, which will let you be there, and he will convince you that you will never find nothing better than this. That if you walk away, because here is the story of the wolf who keeps on eating you, day by day, little by little, drinking your blood. And if you try to walk away, he's gonna bring you back, because he needs a servant, he needs a worshiper, he needs the food to stay with him. This is the worst scenario. You're gonna be dealing with a covert narcissist, so it's gonna end up badly anyway. So please, what you need to do, put yourself first, your dreams first, your ambitions first, your desire first, self-worth, self-love, self-respect, again, self-love. Heal inner child and remember that you are a queen. Never pursue a man. Never, ever pursue a man. What must determine your actions towards the man? His actions. Man acts, you respond to his actions, not to his words or text messages, to actions. If he treats you the way you deserve, you treat him back the same way. Namaste.